You've probably heard a lot of reviews of The Substance, but I promise you've never heard one as passionate as me because it literally changed my life. So find out why in this episode.
In an overcrowded graveyard, the scream will rise. Ghoulmates Entertainment presents Not Another Spooky Podcast.
Welcome back to Not Another Spooky Podcast, where we watch horror movies and talk about all the spooky things they make us think about. Think of it as spooky in the front,
horror in the back.
I'm Mandy Spooks.
And I'm Rabbit Loves Horror. We're just two lifelong besties keeping the spook alive, one bloody popcorn bucket at a time.
Today we're grave digging into all the ways humans tried to play God, and then we'll review The Substance in the second half of the episode. To set the vibe for this episode, we're going to start off with a little game of Bone, Marry, Slash. Okay, there wasn't much to work off of on this one. So
True.
We have Demi Moore, Margaret, Qualley, and Dennis Quaid.
Okay, so definitely Slash Dennis Quaid. I hated his character. Well, I guess if we're going off of the characters in this movie, Slash Dennis Quaid, he was a total jerk in this movie, and he kind of disgusted me also. So that was an easy slash.
Yes.
And now I'm getting to the part where I don't know what to do next. But I guess I'll bang Margaret Qualley just because she's a little younger and it seems like she's like a little party girl, and sometimes I just want to stay home and not do anything. So it seems like a lot of work to be in that relationship. And then I'll marry Demi Moore because, I mean, why not? I think she is the full package, so you can't go wrong with that. What about you?
Yeah, for sure. So funny story. I don't know if you know this. I figured it would come up. Dennis Quaid came out as like an openly very like pro-Trump supporter last season. After I saw the film, so rewatching it, I was like, ew, this is kind of weird because now I know that this is kind of who he is IRL, and absolutely Slash. So I was just like, I really hated him even more. I was like, should we cast people who are really playing themselves? I don't know.
Double Slash for me now.
Yes. I'm pretty sure Mr. Spooks is here. Mr. Spooks, that's correct, right? Yes. Okay, he's editing. Okay, and I would bone Margaret because she's a smoke show, obviously. But I would marry Demi in a heartbeat. Like, I love her. This movie would not have hit the way it did if it was not Demi Moore.
Yeah, I'm glad we agreed again on our picks.
Yeah. All right, and we have no haunted housekeeping for today, so we can get straight into the Scream Sheet, our weekly breakdown of what has us shrieking with excitement. I feel like, in a way, The Substance is about trying to play God and buy back time or youth, and that's very similar to Dr. Frankenstein. So I'm going all in on the playing God vibes for today. There is a new Frankenstein movie that's on its way with Sebastian Stan set to star. Romanian filmmaker Radu Jude, who produced or directed Dracula and Continental 25, revealed his next project, Frankenstein, in Romania, which he's currently writing. Jude envisions Stan, who was born in Romania, playing both Victor Frankenstein and his monster in a story blending the classic, so sorry, I had to double check I was recording. Blending the classic legend with the real history of a secret CIA prison once located there. The two had discussed working together before, but Jude said that this was the first concept that felt right, and Stan immediately signed on. The announcement comes as Guillermo del Toro's own star-packed Frankenstein prepares to premiere at the Venice Film Festival, and Maggie Gyllenhaal's Bride movie is set to premiere early next year. And I have heard rumblings that there are even more Frankenstein adaptations in development. And all I can say is, you're welcome, Hollywood, because I have been fangirling over how cool monsters are for the past 5 years. So someone better hit up Ghoulmates Entertainment so that we can make the ultimate monster love letter, Phil.
That is exciting. That's a lot of Frankenstein news. Yes. I love Sebastian Stan, so that should be fun. I love Guillermo del Toro. I mean, horror icon. How can he not? And Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan, but she's cool, I guess. But this is really kind of exciting news with all these projects. So what you're saying is there's a Frankenstein movie and then a Bride of Frankenstein movie, like two separate things?
Yeah, they're not connected at all. And Maggie Gyllenhaal's is focused on, like, it's called Bride. So we don't know much about it yet, but it was pushed back to early next year. So I'm really curious to see how that goes because we've seen like sneak peeks at Guillermo's and hers now. Oh, I'm so excited. They all look so good. So if monsters are crazy this year, they're going to be even crazier popular next year, which is just such an exciting time for this monster ghoul.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And Dracula too. I didn't even mention that one. So Dracula, Frankenstein, The Bride. It's a monster-packed season coming up.
Yes. What do you have?
All right. So this week I saw that the Six Flags Fright Fest has their own versions of Horror Nights, which I've seen before. But the thing that piqued my interest this time around is that they're having a Conjuring house, a Conjuring Universe house. So that should be really fun. I love the Conjuring Universe. I would love to go through another haunt where I experienced the Conjuring. The last time I did that was at the WB haunted event that they have, or like the horror event they had, and they haven't had it in a long time. Or I think they only had it once and they never brought it back. But that was such a fun experience. It really felt like you were walking through a museum, and then at the end you meet Valak popping through the picture, the photo frame or the picture frame. And that was really cool. So I'm really, really considering going to Fright Fest this year, but I don't know. I have so many other things I want to do, so I haven't really decided, and I haven't bought tickets yet.
Well, I have officially finally shared that I am going to California this Halloween, and I don't know. Do we need to add a date to my trip for this? Because this sounds a lot more exciting than the HHN lineup to me.
I know, and I put the lineup in the script so you can see the other things that they're doing. They're doing Stranger Things and Trick or Treat and Saw. Like, they got all the good stuff this year.
And is
like
Army of the Dead the Zack Snyder one?
I did not check, but it says new, so I'm assuming it might be. Like, they got a lot of good stuff this year.
I don't know. I think I might have to crash one extra day, Rabbit.
Just let me know so I can request an extra day of work. But yes,
I know.
I am so excited that you're coming because for the past couple of years, it's just been Michael and I going to these horror events by ourselves because none of our friends really like going to these things. Like, it's just not their thing. They don't like getting scared, or they're not particularly like horror fans. So to finally have someone join us, I'm really excited, and I'm more excited that it's going to be you.
Thank you. I know. I'm so excited. I am super bummed that Mr. Spooks can't come with us. But
Me too.
sorry, for those of you who don't follow along on my YouTube, I shared my Halloween plans for the season finally. And my Patreon has been so supportive that I had like the funds to be able to do this. I wanted to go all out this season. So I'm happy that we can finally talk about all the HHN stuff and everything. So we have so much more coming your guys' way, because I'm more excited that I get to create spooky content with you in person at like the coolest events.
Yeah. And we're going opening night. So we'll be the first to experience all of the new houses, which is kind of cool. I've never been on opening night. I've always seen pictures of all the celebrities going on opening night and kind of walking their version of the red carpet. I've gone opening weekend, like that Saturday or whatever other day, but opening night is the first, and I'm kind of excited for that. Kind of scared
I know.
too.
I'm so scared we're gonna regret it. Like, I don't know how the crowds are gonna be, but I am, from a creative perspective, I'm kind of like, oh my God, why did I say opening night? Because I like to like see ahead, like what's the best thing, so I know like how to attack my filming and stuff. But at the same time, like this is actually gonna be like me going in blind for the first time to something, so it's gonna get spooky, hopefully.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid all types of spoilers. Like, I know the Terrifier house has been a hot topic with everybody, talking about like the wet zones and all this other stuff that they're incorporating into different houses. And I'm really trying to avoid all spoilers, so I go in blind as much as possible. So I'm excited. I'm ready to get scared.
Yeah. There's like a lot of information now about the Terrifier haunt. So if you see anything about 1810, you should just swipe because I feel like
I
you're going
do.
to stumble. Okay. Yeah. Because there's
Yeah,
a
once
lot
I
of
see somebody
info.
talking about details or they say something about the Terrifier house, I'm like, swipe, I'll see it myself and I'll come back.
Yeah. Exciting times. All right, Ghosters,
Yes.
it's time for our favorite chat of the week, keeping the spook alive.
It's alive! It's alive!
All right, Rabbit, how are you keeping the spook alive?
Alrighty, so to keep going on with theme parks, I was able to go shopping at Disney. I woke up early on a Monday morning because I heard over the weekend that they were going to be releasing the Halloween line park wide. So I just went to downtown Disney because I've assumed that's going to be the first place they go. And if you haven't been to downtown Disney here at Disneyland before, they always have like a centerpiece and they always decorate the center to be super Halloween. And that's where they have all of the new stuff coming out. So I went early thinking I was smart. I was like, oh, I'm going to be the first one there. And the joke was on me because I arrived like maybe 5-10 minutes before the store opened and there was already a line. It was crazy. So I was just like following the line. I was like, is this ever going to end? But the store hadn't opened yet. So I was kind of like measuring how many people would fit in the store in my mind. And I was like, okay, I should be one of the first people that actually go inside because the store's pretty big. So they do have a bigger capacity. So I think they'll be able to get like this much of the line in. And I did. I was able to walk in within just a few minutes. And people are crazy. Specifically the girlies this year. The girlies are going feral this year for the spooky little mini ghost. I don't know if you've already seen it online, but it's very pastel, very cutesy, very pink, little spooky mini ghost. And the girls are loving it. They have like headbands, sweaters, t-shirts, and I got the stuff that I wanted. I did not know this little ghost existed, and it's not really my vibe either. So I wasn't really interested in it. So I only went for the things that I had already seen that I wanted. But when I was in line waiting to pay, I could see like a horde of people and the cast members are like, please form a line this way. Like, because they were going in on that sweater. It was crazy. But anyway, I did get the stuff that I wanted and I have it here to show.
Ooh, we love
which
a
was
show
a headband.
and tell. Oh my God,
You could
it's so
build-
cute.
Yeah, you build your own headband so you could take these things off and put whatever you want. But the ones I wanted were this vampire Mickey. So cute. And then, of course, the Mickey pumpkin. And like I said, you can take them off and have just like one or add like a ton of different ones on top. But that was my spooky purchase this week. And yeah, I love it. What
I love
about you?
that.
How did you keep the spook alive?
You sounded so cute like a little kid, and this is how you do it. I love that. Well, we celebrated my birthday the last weekend, and my vlog came out, so I'm super excited to say thank you so much to Mr. Spooks for making my birthday so special. We went to a sunflower farm, which was like something I've wanted to do for a very long time because we had sunflowers at our wedding. So they're my favorite flower. So I was like, I really want to go to like take pictures of sunflowers one day. So we went to do that. It was way prettier than I ever imagined. Like it was so pretty. So it was really fun. And then we went to go have mochi donuts. And then I thought we were just taking pictures with my birthday cake. And he surprised me with my witch house from Cracker Barrel. So I'm super excited because it's just like the most perfect Halloween decoration. It is my favorite thing in the whole world now. I didn't even really hunt for it because I was just like, this is like way too expensive and people are going crazy over it. But he somehow made it happen and I'm super excited about it. Like, I'm so excited. Actually, my shelf is in transition currently from Summerween to spooky season. So I'm sure that the witch house is going to make an appearance permanently for spooky season. And then also we've both been planning how we're going to tackle this crazy short trip because there's just like so much content I'm hoping to get out of it. So I want to make sure we have it down to like the second.
I know. It really needs to be.
So, and now we might need to add an extra day. I don't even know. So yeah, it's just been like really hustle mode at this point, is just like keeping track of everything I need to cover, and still slowing down enough to enjoy it and keep track of my Healthy for Halloween journey. So yeah, it's very exciting right now. And I also wanted to give a big shout out really quick to Printy Vibes for my substance earrings. This whole episode was inspired by these. Sorry, I was like trying to think of what I was gonna say. So Printy Vibes and I go a long way back, like all the way since 2020. We were like each other's biggest supporters, and we fangirled so hard when this film came out. And I had my eye on these for so long, and I had ordered a couple things, and she sent me like all these amazing bonus things, like my lightning bolts and these substance earrings. So I was like, we have to do a substance episode so I could wear them. So shout out to Printy Vibes, and you can save 10% with code Mandy Spooks. This is not an affiliate link or anything, just genuinely a way that I try to help another ghoul out that has supported me along my journey. So yeah, support Printy Vibes.
Yeah, those earrings are so cool. You told me before we got on that you had to get ready for the podcast, and I was like, wait, what do you mean you're gonna get ready? Like, what are you gonna do? And I think you look so cute right now with your earrings, and it's giving very, oh my gosh, what's her name? It's giving very Sue vibes.
Thank you. I am so out of my comfort zone. I hate like not having my bangs or a bow or something, but I was like, well, I have to at least try so that at least the earrings can shine too. Like the hair fits perfect for the earrings. So thank you.
It does. Yes.
Today I am Mandy Sparkles.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Mandy Sparkles. Like, you told me you're gonna dress up, so I was like, okay, I have to wear something green then. And I was trying to look all over for something substancy. And I was like, I have nothing. I was trying to look like a test tube, or I don't know, just something that can give me that vibe. And all I could find was this Ghoulmates original t-shirt. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's green. It's dripping like the substance. So this is me dressing up.
It really is perfect. And it makes me love the logo even more now, because I'm like, oh, it does give the substance vibes.
It does.
I also like, I had planned this part, right? But then I was like, wait, what am I going to wear with this? I can't wear a t-shirt with this look.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess off the shoulders.
No,
like
it's cute.
80s.
I love it.
Thank you. All right, Ghoulsters, it's time to get into the spooky mood for today's main event of the substance. So Slash is in session. All right, today's nightmare fuel comes straight out of the 1800s, and it's got some seriously Frankenstein and substance energy. Back in the 1800s, the world of medicine was just starting to explore skin grafting. Doctors claimed they could cover wounds or improve someone's appearance by transplanting skin from one person to another. In some documented cases, that skin allegedly came from people who had just died. And while surgeons insisted it was purely medical, society had other ideas. Rumors began swirling about a darker motive, whispers of the wealthy seeking out flawless, youthful skin from the recently deceased to enhance their own beauty. The most chilling part is that some stories claim these grafts didn't just change the way you looked, they made you feel different, act different, as if a piece of the donor's essence had come with it. It was the kind of gossip that would have traveled fast in Mary Shelley's time, and it's not hard to imagine how it could inspire the idea of stitching together the quotation perfect human. But whether you believe the rumors or not, it's a reminder that the desire to become someone else, to wear a new skin, has haunted humanity for centuries.
Ooh, that was something new to me. I have not heard about that. But this reminds me of, I think this has been done in a horror movie before, where like a piece of someone is given to someone else and they kind of still connected to the original body. And there is a show, I believe, I think it was a Netflix show, where it kind of took the same scenario, where I believe it was the eyes or something. I think the person went blind and they transplanted eyes over to this person, and that person kept the memories.
Why does that sound familiar?
Person. I don't remember the movie, but I think that's what happened. But yeah, I don't know. It was like kind of like a throwback that you just threw me into. So that's really interesting that it's kind of still making the horror rounds, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I feel like there's always stories that like people who get heart transplants have memories or like become that person too. So I don't know. I feel like this is a very good like segue or like just starter for today's discussion, because I have so many questions after watching The Substance a second time. For now, that brings me to today's spooky question of the day. And this is kind of a spoiler if you guys haven't seen it, but this like if you haven't seen it, why are you even listening? Because you should have definitely seen it by now. But how good would you be on following the rules if you took the substance? Do you think you would push it or follow the rule book?
I would say first initial thoughts is I would follow the rule book because I am such a rule follower with everything in life. Like if somebody tells me you should do this, this, and this, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. That's fine. But that's also, I don't know, like my work part. Like at work, I am like that person that always does whatever my boss asks for and the way they want it, or anybody else that asks for help. Like I'm down to help and I'm down to do it however you want it to be done. But then what if, I don't know, I just start thinking of those scenarios that Sue ran into. Like, what if you have somebody over and you still need like a couple more hours?
Just two more.
Yeah, just 2 more hours. I'm not going to do anything. Or what if there's like an event that I had to go to? I can't go as my old self with my broken knees. Like I need to look my best for this big event. Like what if it's, I don't know, like a midsummer or something, some dumb little event like that. So I'd be so tempted I'd probably be so tempted to just, steal some more from my old body and kind of just mess with the schedule. But yeah, I think I would try my hardest, but I think there would be days where I'd kind of like slip up a little bit. What about you?
It's hard. I feel like the thing with that is almost like, would you rather live a longer life and sacrifice, or would you rather like cut your life short but live it to the maximum fullest, is what it feels like, because that's what I was thinking. And it's interesting because like watching this the second time, maybe because like I wasn't focused on processing, okay, like what's gonna happen next, I was like, to me it seems so simple, right? Like just follow the rules and you get to live out the best life in both bodies. But then I was like, I felt like I really related to it from a like weight loss perspective of like, you know, not to overeat and you should exercise, but then like it's that like instant gratification thing almost, is like, but you want this more. So you're like, I'm just going to eat a little more this time and I'm just going to take a little more, you know? So I was like, okay, I kind of get it. Like, I feel like that is very relatable. As much as you want to follow the rules and make the most of the experience, more times than not, like I guess just that like instant gratification thing kicks in where it's like, but I want this more than anything right now.
Yeah. Now that you said that, it kind of triggered something in me because I am a little bit of lactose intolerant. Not like
I didn't
fully.
know that.
So I mean, it's not fully developed, I guess you can say. I guess I have like a mild case of it, but I love sweets. So, and I love ice cream, but it's one of those things where it's like, if it's there, you just can't resist it.
Yeah.
So, and I think 2 weeks ago, I was at Disneyland and I got a cup of mint chocolate chip ice cream and it was so good, but I regretted it the next day. I was stuck on the toilet. My stomach was hurting. And yeah, so it's just like those little temptations. It's like,
you grew an ugly finger.
Yeah, definitely that too. Yes.
Oh my god, that's gonna be like a thing now, and everyone's gonna be like, "What are they talking about? Ugly fingers?" Yeah, that was a good like starter for the whole episode because I have like so many questions. All right, Goldsters, it's time for the spoiler pack segment of the show. So if you don't want spoilers or more spoilers, I should say, this is your warning to turn back now and come hang out with us once you've seen the movie. What are we streaming and screaming to this week, Rabbit?
Alrighty, so this week we are getting into The Substance. It is certified fresh with a 76 popcorn meter, which is really low. I mean, under 80%. That's, I don't know. That's a weird rating. But let's
That's
get into
all the
the
normies
summary.
who went.
Yeah, for real. Okay, so let's get into the summary. Aging actress Elizabeth Sparkle uses a black market drug called the substance to create a younger, more vibrant version of herself named Sue. The two must adhere to a strict schedule alternating weekly between being conscious and unconscious, but Sue disrupts this balance, leading to horrific consequences. Since the balance was disrupted, the crucial stabilizer step is misused, leading to Sue creating her own younger self. This leads to the birth of a monstrous deformation that gets attacked and murdered by her fans. I know. Oh, the little monstro at the end was so cute. Okay, so this was all directed, produced, and written by Caroline Farja. So she also did the movie Revenge. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on Shudder.
Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it good? Oh my God, no. I was literally thinking when I did my research, I need to watch it. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm watching it this week.
Yeah, the title is perfect of what this movie is. What that movie is.
Unlike last week's.
Yes.
Okay, I'm done. I promise.
No, but definitely, I think you'd really enjoy it. It's a good movie. But yeah, let's get into the cast. So we have Elizabeth, played by Demi Moore, Sue, played by Margaret Qualley, and Harvey, which is the casting director, is played by Dennis Quaid in Boo. Okay, so initial reactions. So this rewatch was a lot of fun, but I didn't realize how long this movie was. I was like looking at the clock and I was like, is this movie almost done? I forgot how long this movie is, and I had totally forgot about some scenes, and it's not a bad thing, but the movie wouldn't end, and it kept pushing the envelope of what was happening, because you keep thinking, okay, this is going to end this way, or it's going to end in this scene. But it just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. You're like, what is going on here?
That's fair. That is a very fair assessment. I honestly love this movie, if you guys can't tell. So if I start, I won't shut up. But I'm very happy to be reviewing it for the first time, like in depth, because I've only ever like mildly touched on it. So I'm ready to fangirl like there's no tomorrow.
I'm excited because I did see your notes and I'm like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's get into the tone and the atmosphere. So for me, this felt like a really dark movie, a little depressing with some humor. But the thing that really stuck out to me was that was really interesting was, like I said, it's a dark movie, but everything was so bright. Like there was like scenes where things were so bright and would shine on the camera, but the tone was like the complete opposite from like the workout video clothes. Obviously it's like the 80s, everything's bright. The yellow coat that she wears, the set designs were even like super pop and bubbly, and even the actual substance was like this vibrant green, which I thought was so interesting in contrast to what the movie really is about, which is a very dark, very sad. Felt like there was no hope in some scenes, which there really wasn't in some in the end. But yeah, I just kept spiraling and spiraling into more and more chaos as the movie went on.
I agree. I think so. There's this argument that is like, some people love making films and some people love making movies, and those are two very different things. And this is a film, which is why it's so shocking, like how mainstream it got, which like is just a testament to how good this film is. But I feel like you are so right. The commentary in this is so depressing and dark, but this film, not this movie, this film does such a good job of like making it entertaining and having comedic relief enough that like it doesn't leave you feeling like that was horrible. I feel so down now. Like I don't ever want to watch it again, because that's how I felt after I watched The Joker, for example. Like it was so good, but it was like that was too heavy for me to watch. Or like Hill House, love it. It's probably like number 2 after this for me now, or maybe I don't know. I need to rewatch it, but this one's just so good because like it does such a good job, but in a way it's almost like inspiring and entertaining enough to not make you feel that way.
Yeah, it's just I'll get into it later, but yeah, it was just a different feeling rewatching just because you know what's going to happen. So for this movie, I kind of went in kind of like with a filmmaker hat on, even though I'm not a filmmaker. But I was like, okay, how can I dissect this movie? I know what happens at the end. I don't need to be doing this like guessing game of how I felt the first time. So I really went in trying to kind of like dissect it a little bit more, which I guess I'm getting into the direction and the cinematography. For me, the cinematography was almost like beautiful. Like you said, it's more of a film, not a movie, because there was just some scenes where I was like, oh my God, this is like artwork, honestly. Like the way they would shoot things. But another thing about the cinematography was everything felt so static. Like the whole movie, I mean, not the whole movie, but a majority of the scenes were filmed like art. Like the camera was just sitting there and you were just watching the scene. And those shots really felt intentional. Like it wanted you to either feel uncomfortable or force you to look at something. And I really appreciated that. I thought that was really great how they did that. I did look into some of the filmmaking techniques, I guess you can say, for this film. And I did see a lot of people bringing up the rule of thirds, which I did learn because of this movie. But that was very prevalent throughout the whole movie. Like it was kind of like a constant thing. And I really liked the way it did that. The hallway scenes where like the door was in the middle and then the hallways were on both sides. The billboard, the way it kind of always was in focus, but there were still like other things that you were supposed to be concentrating on. And the bathroom scenes, like that was so cool when it kind of like zoomed out. I don't know if you remember that scene where she's kind of like in the shower, kind of, I think she was crying or something. Or
Yeah.
And it zoomed out and it's just like this tunnel that it kind of created. That was really cool. So this whole movie was shot so beautifully. Like I felt, like I said before, like it felt like it was art. And I really feel like, even though the sound of this movie is amazing, which I'll get into in another section, but you could really have this movie on in the background. It could be like you're showcasing some kind of art. Like it's that amazing in my opinion.
I love to hear that. I am realizing that I am probably going to get very emotional at some point in this episode, so I apologize, but yes, I freaking love hearing that, and that you're even trying to like push yourself to learn more about filmmaking techniques. I do want to mention, if anyone's interested in like truly understanding the chaos and amount of work that goes into filmmaking, there's a new show called The Studio by Seth Rogen. Have you heard of it?
No.
So he's an executive producer for a studio, and he's fighting that idea of like studios want to make movies and he wants to make films. But it shows the absolute chaos of like what real filmmaking is like, because I feel like people who aren't in the industry just really don't understand like why I'm constantly stressed trying to make a film, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that you're trying to learn, and I highly recommend that show if you're interested in like learning and seeing more of it. Also, before I proceed, I'm so excited that I can't even stay on track with my own notes. For tone and atmosphere, I did want to share that this is a body horror film, and it does not shy away from showing the female body at like its literal best and worst. So it's not for the faint of heart, in case anyone's listening and hasn't seen it and is now like, oh, I want to see it after hearing them talk about it. It is extremely gory, like it is real body horror. Some people have literally walked out of the theater watching it, so that's definitely like what you said, it's like art.
Yeah.
But like to like both extremes, good and bad. So yeah. Okay, where do I even begin? Because I love everything you said. One of the movie rules that I wanted to share was something Mr. Spooks taught me, and it's that they follow the 60-30-10 rule. So it should be like 60% of the shot is one color, like you see all my green right now. And then 30% is the secondary color, and 10% is that one like smaller accent color. Which is a perfect example because I wasn't planning on sharing that today, but that's kind of what we do in all our videos. Is like I always have a main background color, then you have me usually like in purple or black, and then the mic is 10. So it's like a perfect balance right now. Was not planned. But this movie is one of the few where it like really follows it every single time. And I love that about it. And like I don't remember actively, like there was just so much to process when you watch it for the first time. So if you've only seen it once, please watch it a second time, because there's just like so much for you to realize. But what I really love about the cinematography in this film is that it does not look like a horror film. It is so bright, it's so colorful, and like even once she becomes a monster, it still doesn't feel like a horror film. Yeah. And I love that so much. Like it's just like as I was watching it, I was just like, this is so pretty. And like it still does its job of like doing all the blood and the gore and stuff, but it's just so fun to watch and colorful. And like for me as a female, I have so much to say about it in the writing section, but I just like, that's what I love about this film, is that it does not look like your typical horror film, the way they use color. And like the whole time, this time I was like, why is she wearing a yellow coat? Like what made them decide that? And then I realized, I'm about to blow your mind. Have you figured it out?
No, I didn't have a reason, so that's why I didn't include it in here.
I think it signifies the egg.
Oh, okay.
Because they
Like
open
the egg
with
in the
like the
beginning.
egg. The egg is the like example of how it splits. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, there are accents of yellow throughout this. And I was like, it's the egg. Oh my God.
It's the yolk of the egg, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, so like, oh my God, I want, like that had to have been intentional. Like why else would they have used yellow, you know? But I also want to state that the direction of this film, or like the director, must have been so amazing for both women to have felt as vulnerable and comfortable as they did on set. Like there was a part where when Elizabeth wakes up with Sue's body on her, and I was like, can you imagine how vulnerable they had to be to like literally be flopped on each other naked in front of the crew? I'm sure they like minimized how many people were on set, but like I just can't, like, for me, we have like an intimate scene in our short film, and that's the number one thing I'm so worried about. I'm like, we can't afford an intimacy coordinator, and it's not that that intense, but for me, it's like, what can I do as a director or as like a producer or whatever to ensure that like everybody feels comfortable? And I'm like, I don't even know how I would tackle a scene like that. Like that is something really difficult to do. So to me, it's like that tells me everything about this director, that her actors were willing and able to do that. Tells you enough about how amazing they are.
Yeah. I like that you're bringing in this woman's perspective, because that did not even cross my mind.
Yeah.
At all.
I have so much. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Now that you're bringing it up, I'm like, wait, yeah, you're right. They were full nude laying on top of each other, and they really had to trust each other in a way, and they really had to be so comfortable to put themselves in such a revealing position and awkward position, because they're literally laying on top of each other. So I'm excited for the rest of this conversation, because I'm probably gonna like realize things that I didn't even know or think of on my own.
That really stuck out to me. But yeah, that's all I have from a director and cinematographer. Oh, wait. I did have one more thing, though. Another thing was that this movie is filled with Easter eggs. And Mr. Spooks was the one who caught this. But when she arrives at the, Parcells, I guess, to, pick up the stuff, there's graffiti outside of the building. And, where she swipes the card, there is artwork. And it's the egg splitting into one. It's like two eggs, and then it has an arrow splitting, pointing down, and then it's one, and it's like the two are one. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I think if you pay attention throughout the film, there is always little Easter eggs. If you guys look up TikTok, the Substance, I think it's inspirations or stuff. It also breaks down all of the films that a lot of the scenes pay tribute to, The Shining with the hallway. There's just so much about this film. I could talk for hours about it.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add on to what you said earlier about the cinematography was I think you said it was a pretty horror film. And that kind of encapsulates the end scene with the monstro or the monster version that comes out, and she gets dressed into this bright or like powder blue kind of dress, and she puts on all these like dangly earrings that like sparkle. And I think that kind of is like the perfect resemblance of what you were trying to say, was like it's this grotesque monster, but she's dressed so pretty.
Oh my
That's like the
God.
first thing that popped into my mind.
Well, it's funny because when I saw it the first time, I saw that scene as like her being angry and like wanting to scare people from her, like how ugly she was because of like how mean they were. But the second time I watched it, I'm gonna cry when I say this. I was just like, because I saw it a second time and she's literally like loving herself. That's what she's doing. And I'm
Oh
gonna
my
cry saying
God.
this, but I was like, because she's getting ready. She's like, even if I'm a monster now, I'm myself. Like, I'm real. And she's curling her hair and she's putting on the earring and she's getting dressed so that she could like actually like enjoy it. That's what she's doing.
You're so right, because it goes back to the scene where Demi Moore gets ready to go on a date and she can't leave the house. Like, she keeps going back to the mirror and she can't leave because she's seeing all her imperfections, even though there's nothing wrong with her. But then she turns into this monster and she's like, this is me and I'm going to go out and show everybody. Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yes, I know. It like really like got me. I was like, oh my God, I didn't get that the first time. And when she's envisioning everyone being like, oh, welcome, like she's imagining that people love her for who she is now. Oh, it is so good.
Oh my gosh. I'm just having a little revelation here just thinking about it. And to go on top of that, she goes back and gets the picture of herself, her original self, and puts that on her face and goes out and displays herself as her original self and not as Sue. Wow. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to like sit on that for a second. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so let's get into the writing and the pacing. So this was such a good story to tell, and I think it really brought some important societal issues up in a creative way that can start these type of conversations that deal with self-worth, how we view ourselves, and more importantly, how we as a society view women in media. And then I also want to talk about the pacing really quick. The pacing was very weird to me, but I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was very weird. It was a 2-hour-long movie, which again felt odd. And it wasn't that I was bored. I wasn't bored watching the movie. I was just a feeling of, is this movie not ending here? Like, it should be ending soon, right? Like, what's going to happen next? I don't know what's going to happen. Like, why do you keep continuing the movie? And an example of this was, which is a scene that I totally forgot about. I don't know how I forgot about it. Was when Sue and Elizabeth both gained consciousness at the same time and they start fighting each other. And I'm like, what is going on here? What am I watching? Like, this is not what I expected in this movie. And it was such a cool scene to see her two selves fighting each other physically, because before that scene, they had been fighting each other mentally, I guess you can say, but because they're the same person. It was just an amazing part to see them physically at each other and trying to just kill each other because they both hated each other so much. And yeah, it was like an hour and a half into the movie, and I'm like, okay, she killed her. Like, what's gonna happen next? Why does the movie keep going? So it was that feeling of uncomfortableness. Like, why does this movie keep going? And it keeps adding more and more and more onto. So that was a crazy moment for me too.
I feel like, it's funny because I have been trying to justify the length of this movie because that was Mr. Spooks' complaint too, that it was just too long and it didn't need to be that long. And I was like, why don't I have that issue with it? Because I'm the queen of saying I don't like slow burns or slow paced things. And as we were talking about it, I realized that I think it's intentional because, like, as a woman, I feel like that's the dread you experience is like, it's like one thing leads up to like it's one thing and then another thing and then another thing. Like there's just this dread of like constant opinions from people throughout your life. And I feel like that's what Demi Moore's character is going through. Like Elizabeth Sparkles specifically. Like first it's the whole freaking thing of overhearing that she's too old for the role. And then it's like seeing how the guy reacts to her compared to how the motorcycle guy reacts to her as an old woman compared to how he reacts to Sue. And it's just always like everything continues to build up and you start like you have to feel that dread of like why she hates being the old version of herself, especially like coming from being the hottest woman, right? Like it must be even harder versus compared to like average women who maybe don't have the experience of like being at the top of like us, like being a hot girl, you know? So I feel like it's kind of necessary for people to understand the amount of like dread that she's really dealing with and like internal like hate towards her body.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely 100% agree that it was part of why they made this movie long, because like we've been saying, this movie is art, so it felt like maybe this is like their art exhibit and you're gonna sit here and feel like it's a long movie because it is a long movie and they want you to feel the same emotions that Demi Moore is going through. So I definitely feel like that was very intentional too.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to oh, sorry, there's two things. I'm like, there's just so many things I need to like say out loud. So first, I want to say that there are some questions I have after watching it for the first time, but you brought up saying you forgot a lot of the scenes, and it's really weird because I loved this movie, and usually when I love something, I do remember it. Like, it has to really stand out to me, and I also forgot a lot of it, and I was like, this movie did something to our brain chemistry. I don't know if it was just like so much that we couldn't retain everything we experienced in those 2 hours. I don't even know how long it is, but for reals, like watching it this time around, I was like, I don't remember the order of these things. Like I kept thinking like the scene where she's getting dressed for the date happened before the finger thing, and then after the finger thing I was like, did I make that up in my head? Was that like, am I watching like a version where they cut scenes out, because I was convinced it happened before the finger thing. And then like I forgot too about the part where she tries killing her, and I'm just like, it's just crazy. Like this movie does something to you that like I guess you just processed so much the first time watching it. But so like from a critical lens, because I talked so much shit last week, I'm so sorry. Like I immediately regretted it. I can be objective, and watching this a second time, I had so many questions, and I don't know if I'm just like overthinking it from a screenwriting perspective now, but I had a lot of questions like, why do people keep spreading this substance? Okay, sorry, let me reset the like expectation, or I don't know, set the tone. I don't think this movie is reality. Like I don't think it's supposed to be like a realistic story or anything. I think it's like its own universe to be commentary. That's all it is. But I was like, I had a lot of questions. Like, it's the old man that like basically recruits her to take the substance. Why did he do that if he hated it so much? And why do they continue to like spread it? And who's giving the substance? And why is it free? Because we see the whole phone call. So like, and why is it free? Is this like an experiment on humans to see like how far they'll go? Like I had lots of questions about that, and I want more. I need to understand more. But the other part to that is like, they don't really establish like why the two girls or women talk in the she form. Like, in my head, because I didn't overthink this the first time. The first time made complete sense to me. The second time I was like, did Elizabeth Sparkles duplicate, and then Sue's brain is separate from... Because, like, when you watch it the first time, you see it as like, okay, I am Mandy, but when I duplicate into Sue, my consciousness goes into her. But then it's kind of like they don't know what each other are doing in their time off, because they wake up and they're like, oh, I hate what she just did. So I'm like, does she duplicate like her consciousness duplicated, but then they're two different consciousnesses because like it's a different body. So I feel like her starting point is Elizabeth Sparkles, but she kind of like takes on this life of her own. So it's two different people literally. I feel is like what's happening. Or is it like my whole Amanda Mandy thing where like people outside of it don't understand? But like I could not be Mandy Spooks without Amanda, and I could not be Amanda without Mandy Spooks, but they are two different people to me. So like what's happening? I don't understand.
Yeah, I kind of went through that while watching the movie the second time too. I was like, wait, are they two separate people? Like, do they have their own thoughts? But then the movie keeps telling you, like, no, you are one. You are one person. And I think that's just a psychological thing because imagine going through that. You separate yourself and you see a better version of yourself and you start to resent that body when you go back to your old body. So I can see it where it really damages you psychologically, where it's like, God, I hate myself when I look like this, and I hate her for not looking like her. So I think it's just like a psychological torture kind of thing where you are one mind, but maybe we're not built to do that, obviously. So your brain can't really process what's happening. So it turns into a split personality, hatred towards yourself kind of thing. That's kind of like what I rationalized it as.
I'm so glad I brought it up too, because you're right. Like I'm trying to think of it from like, obviously the closest thing I can experience is the whole Amanda Mandy thing. But you're right, because like right now I have the option where it's like once I stop filming, I can be whoever I want. And I hate saying this because like the audience just really doesn't understand it. And I'm sorry, you guys, like I don't want you to feel like Mandy's this fake person to you, but it's just like this like hat I put, like I don't know how to explain it. It's very hard to explain, but I guess with this situation it's to an extreme because like I don't hate either version of myself, and I do find the value of both of those characters, for lack of better words. So you're right. I guess it is like this resentment, I guess, because I hadn't really put that together, because there is a part when Elizabeth is about to kill her and she's just like, no, like I'm not me without you now.
Yeah.
And that got me too, because I was like, that was how I felt when I said I quit YouTube last year. Like as a creator, like I felt so broken. And like, that is true. Like, this is weird. This is a whole therapy session for me now, realizing like, I get it. Cause rewatching it, I was like, I don't get it. So I'm glad I told you, because I do get it. Like there are very complicated feelings even for me as just like a creator. So I can only imagine if I actually like changed bodies for a whole week and never like, you do start living two completely different lives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I kind of to just add on to your Mandy versus Amanda thing. I'm very new to this speaking my mind and putting my thoughts out in the internet. So all this is new to me. So kind of just to give like a more understanding to maybe that someone doesn't understand what you're trying to say is, for me in real world, I am the quietest person in the room. Like I won't talk to you unless you talk to me. Like, and it's not because I'm mean or I'm not because I think I'm better than you. That's just the way I'm built. Like I'm just shy and I won't give my opinions. Because I just don't want to give my opinions. Like I just want, a neutral setting ground. I don't want to put my opinions out there. And this podcast has really forced me to put out my opinions, even though I know that maybe my opinions aren't the same as everybody. Like Jaws, like I did not want, like that's something I would never do in real life. Like I would never go somewhere and start talking bad about Jaws. But this podcast has like really forced me to kind of tap into my Sue self and kind of push you to not be a different person, but show people a different side of you. So hopefully that kind of makes people understand that a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think hearing you talk about it's more like, I'm the same way. And I don't know if you would agree with this, because everyone's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, I am a very introverted person. And also in my career, I have always been very like afraid to speak up, and throughout life in general, like I've been afraid to be myself. So like the spooky space buns came from me trying to find a like, okay, I am transforming into somebody that is empowered, that can speak up for others, that can like do all the things that Amanda can't. And slowly but surely, like I started to like Mandy Spooks is the magic in me and everything I do, and like she has become a part of me in real life. But they are still two different people, and it's not like coming from a place of like I'm tricking you guys and playing the part of this really spooky girl. It's more so like she gives me the confidence, just like the body gives Elizabeth Sparkles the confidence to like be her hottest self again. Like that's what it's like. It's like putting on a guard that allows you to be like this version of yourself. So,
yeah, it gives you freedom.
Yes, for
freedom
sure.
to be, or to speak your mind, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I have so much. We're in the writing section, right?
Yes, we are. We're still here.
Okay, so those were my like objective critiques. Is like we don't truly know like why does a substance get like passed along to people, to who, the money situation, all those things. But on a positive note, all the reasons why I love this, I think that this movie really portrays the experience of being a woman and being scrutinized for the way you look, and I can only imagine as you age. The scene where Elizabeth hates how she looks going on a date was like heartbreaking for me to watch because she is gorgeous even at her age. Demi Moore is just amazing. But at the same time, like you also know as a woman that every single woman has experienced that feeling of like you're trying to get ready for something really important and you just hate everything about how you look. Like your hair didn't come together, your makeup looks like shit, you don't feel confident in how your body looks. And like I heard that Demi Moore had to recover from this scene too, because it was just like so emotionally taxing to film it. I was even thinking like, imagine how much her face hurt after filming this scene too, of like having to like scrub on your face that much. Like that scene was one of the heaviest. So sure. I was just like that scene just spoke so much to me. And then there's also the scene where like Dennis Quaid says smile at the end. Can I tell you how many times women are told to smile because men can't handle a woman not being sparkly and happy all the time? There's even like an Olivia Rodrigo song where it's called All American Bitch, and if you've never heard it, you should hear it because I feel like that encapsulates how women feel at this point in time in America. And she says like, I'm pretty when I cry, and like I'm grateful all the time, because like that is what men expect from us. So it was just like, oh, it was so good that that's how he was even speaking to the younger, prettier version. Yeah. And when I saw this movie, I really felt like this film was what Barbie should have been for women, like adult women. Like Barbie was for the young girls who still think that could be the ideal life. Like it was a women empowerment film, but it was a very sparkly version of what we think being an empowered woman is. And this film encaptures what it's actually like to be an adult woman, which is why I was just like, oh, it was just so good because it gave me everything Barbie didn't. Barbie was amazing and I loved it, but I left feeling like it wasn't reality. And this one is reality, coming full circle to the very end, where it's like her being empowered is her loving her monstrous self, like for who she is with all her flaws. Oh, so it's just so good. Do you want to add anything before I continue?
Dang, I don't even know how to follow that. Well, I don't know how to follow that because I've never been in a woman's shoes like that. So I feel like I can't speak to it because obviously I understand what you're saying and I feel for that, but I've never experienced that firsthand. So I feel like I have nothing to add to it because I just don't relate to it in that way. But I definitely see all the parallels and how this movie can really affect a person, how it's making you so emotional. And I'm sure you're not the only person that's felt like this watching this movie. I'm sure there's a lot of women out there that have felt so I guess, not maybe moved by it, or it felt like they've seen themselves in a horror movie in a way that's not like a scream queen, more of like a personal, deep feeling of, I don't know, how they view the world, I guess you can say. I don't know. It's hard to put my words together and to follow what you just said.
No, well, actually, you said it perfectly, because that's actually like my last thing about writing. And forgive me if it's a little rant, but I actually did not put this together until I was writing my notes, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry on this episode. But I did not realize until literally like right before we jumped on this call that this film is actually what inspired me to be a screenwriter. And I don't want to cry, I'm so sorry, but like it was always something in the back of my head. Like, me and Mr. Spooks have always wanted to make films, but when I saw this movie, it was like the first time that I saw something and I was like, oh my God, like this is gory and bloody and disgusting. And it was made for me, for the woman watching it. And like, oh my God, I need to collect myself. But I think like that was the start of me realizing like, this is what I want to do, like make horror for women, because like we see horror all the time and it's like so fun. And there's so many women who love horror, like all the ones who listen to this podcast. But horror is never really made for women. And this was made for women. Like it was sparkly and it was colorful, but it was still ugly and gross. And there was villain. Like it was still a horror movie, but it was made for me. And so I think that was the first time that I realized like, oh, this is what I could do. Like I was inspired and I was moved. I don't think I could ever make anything as good as this film, because it was just like a masterpiece, but that was the start for me. And then shortly after, I found out that Coraline's screenwriting is actually very unique, and like her like normal scripts are just like plain text, like that typewriter font, a very specific structure and format for scripts. And hers was different. Like all of those bold font things that you see on like the packaging, she did that in her script. Like she told the story with the way she formatted her script. So when I saw it, I was just like, oh my God, this is my path. Like this woman is doing like everything that I've wanted to do but couldn't figure out like what I was called to do. And so like I didn't put it together until I was writing these notes, but like it all started at that time. Like I saw this movie in September. I will never forget. I saw it by myself because I kept hearing like, it's so good and it's crazy. And like Rudy didn't want to see it. And I was like, I want to see it. And I went by, it was the first movie I ever went to go see by myself in the theater. And I had so much fun. And shortly after that is, I think, when I made the announcement of like, I'm quitting trying to be a traditional creator so that I can pursue screenwriting or writing. And like, I had not put together how it all started. So I'm sorry. Again, this is a therapy session for me, but like, that is how much this movie moved me.
No, yeah. It's kind of amazing to be on this journey with you, to like go through all of these emotions and just dissect this movie and see how it has really kind of changed your life in a bit. If we're being honest right now, it kind of changed your life.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So it's just cool to kind of go through this movie again and kind of put out your journey. And this is kind of like what started it. So it's kind of cool.
It is really crazy to be like working. I was literally hanging out with our lead actor today, like seeing her, supporting her, and to realize like, oh my God, this movie is the reason I'm doing this right now is just insane. Never, ever would have put that together if we hadn't covered it on the podcast, like on this specific day where I was thinking about filmmaking.
I know, what a coincidence. You went out and met with your lead actress and then you come into here and have like a little realization. That is crazy.
It's been a day, guys. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Speaking of your lead actress, we can get into the casting and the characters. The first thing I wrote was just Demi Moore, period. That's all I have to say.
Period.
The acting in this movie was so good. One of my main things of this movie, one of my favorite things, or maybe my top favorite thing of this movie, is the lack of dialogue. Like, you did not need for this movie, or we did not need this movie to tell us a story through words. You were just immersed into the story and you felt in tune with whatever she was feeling. And that takes a really good actress to convey all of those emotions without feeding you lines of a script. And yes, what you brought up earlier, the whole bathroom scene, which I'll get into in the next section, that was just amazing acting. And yeah, this movie would not be the same without Demi Moore. And I just love that she was able to portray such a vulnerable performance and even make me, as a guy, feel the anxiousness and the sadness that she was feeling in that specific scene. So yeah, just amazing job.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to add too, like, it's so funny you brought that up. Not to keep making it about myself, so I'm sorry. But that's also a lot of like the screenwriting as well. Because like for me, I'm struggling so much with figuring out like how do I write this scene with one person in it where people can know exactly like what is happening without making her say it. And there are a lot of those moments in my script now. And now you're making me think like, I need to go fix it. I need to like watch this movie again and see like, how is this written so that my character doesn't have to say the things that she's currently having to say out loud when she's by herself. But it's a two-way street. Like, yes, it's a screenwriting, but Demi is so good to be able to portray those feelings without saying them. So yeah, you're right. That's really hard to accomplish.
For sure. Did you have anything else to add? Well, I guess I could say everybody else did an amazing job in this movie. Even Sue, she really gave you that younger generation feeling where you were rooting for her, but then you also just kind of like felt the same way as Elizabeth. Like you kind of like resented her. Like, like you're taking, I like you, but you're also taking her spot. Like that was her show. So I think she did a really great job too. And even in her horror scenes, when she was doing the workout video and then like a big bubble of her butt like pops out, like that was. So I think she did a really great job too.
Yes, I think the only thing I want to add. Sorry, I'm like all over the place. I want to add though, like we talked about like how amazing the director was to make them feel this comfortable, but I think like Margaret and Demi both deserve so much kudos for being vulnerable enough to do this film, like with two extremes. Demi on the side of like, it must have been hard to show how her body looks now because you see every detail of her body. Like it is so vulnerable. To Margaret being sexualized, like for her to be okay with that. And I didn't learn until like a year later from Rudy that her boobs weren't real. And I was like so like amazed watching it. I was like, you cannot tell that is not real. Like it looks so real, but she's wearing like, I guess prosthetics or something to make her boobs bigger. And it's just like insane because even she, like both women had to feel so okay with the fact that like every single like inch of their body was going to be shown. It's just like in opposite ways. Yeah. So just kudos to both of them for like being able to get to a point where they could do that because it could not have been easy.
No, for sure. Yeah, I didn't even think that they're both displaying the extremes of how we view women. One young body, we sexualize it, and then the other type of body, we all critique it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, wow. So many revelations in this episode. Okay, so our next section is usually the kills and the scares, but this movie really isn't about the kills and the scares. It didn't really have kills and scares that should like are featured. It's more of the feelings that you endure watching these characters. And like you said before, it's the one scene that made me also feel so uneasy and the most anxious was when she was getting ready for the date, which is crazy that scene made me feel the most emotions because there's no gore, there's no jump scares. Like it's all psychological. Like you're going on this psychological journey with this woman and you are just there struggling with her. Even though you don't see what she sees, you see her and she is probably seeing every little imperfection in her own face, her own body, her own breasts as she like tries to cover them up. And you're just looking at her like, girl, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, go on this date, have a night out, go have some fun. You've been like going through so much stress, but the only thing she can focus on is her imperfections in whatever she sees. And it's just so uncomfortable to watch her get consumed by it and just lose it and go crazy. And that scene just made me so sad and just left me with so much anxiety and stress.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, so I kind of want to like not backtrack, but like take you guys back in time a little bit. But like when this movie came out, everyone was talking about like how it was body horror and people couldn't handle it. And I guess like we talked about last week, that was the expectation people set. So when I went in, I was like, oh, that wasn't even that bad. Like, why were people being crazy about it? But honestly, seeing it this time around, I was like, okay, this was actually kind of crazy.
Really?
Like, not like it didn't like affect me, but it like I felt more this time than the first time around. Like, okay, I could see why this was a lot for people who don't watch horror.
True.
Like the arm coming out of the spine and like the extra boob falling out at the end.
I know, that was
like
kind of weird.
there's a lot of gory things happening. So I feel like in retrospect now, I do realize why people were like so affected by this, but I feel like it was just done really well. I'm trying to read my notes because I'm like, what else was I going to say? But yeah, I really think like my expectations were set by the crowd previously, which is why I was like we said, I was disappointed. Not disappointed, but I was just like, why were people making it such a big deal? But now I was like, oh, okay, it really was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
but
I guess so. But I guess for me, the shocking thing that I realized about the horror of this movie was it wasn't the gory
those
scenes.
things.
Like it wasn't the sewing her back. Like that didn't really affect me. And even like the monster didn't really affect me that much. But it's just weird that this movie, the scary part was the part that was not set up to look scary.
Yeah.
Just what was happening was very scary. So yeah, that was amazing for me.
I love that. I think I don't have anything to add, I don't think.
Okay, so let's get into the practical effects and the CGI. This movie had so many amazing practical effects, I believe. From like the birthing, from the spine, that looked all practical, which was gross. And then from, like you said, the boob coming out of some random hole in the monster's body.
And then was it the boob that kept spraying everything with blood? I don't remember. I feel like the boob was spraying
like an
blood,
extra
though.
arm or something that was.
Oh yes, yes, I think so.
Extra arm that started spraying the entire audience with that whole blood bath that she was just spraying everywhere. Yeah, I was reading a little bit about that, and I believe they said it was like 2,500 gallons of fake blood that was used in that scene. That were just spraying the whole audience. It was a lot. That was a crazy scene, and I like that they had a little girl there, and they were. Yes. She were also traumatizing her because she was like so excited to finally see like her Sue as like her favorite celebrity or whatever, because she was even dressed like her, and they were just also traumatized with that blood.
Yes.
I loved it.
I think also the only thing we haven't talked about was like the actual way they transformed Demi's body. I feel like that was also not scary because, like, I don't think people typically really age that extremely. But for me, it was scary because I started imagining, like, how our bodies are going to get, like, more stiff because how she's, like, having a hard time moving it. And she has to, like, basically, like, force it into being, like, bendable and stuff. So that was also scary for me, was just, like, depicting, like, how our bodies don't do well, like as they age, so that was also like I think a part of the horror, like it was like a C side to the horror.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really scared to get older, especially because my knees. I have really bad knees, so I'm sure they're just gonna go and get worse as I
You're
get
gonna
older.
have to force them like her.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. But another thing I wanted to tap on as from like the CG, or not the CGI, but the practical effects was the golem version of her, like the prosthetics that they used on her. That was insane.
I know.
Like you could see her eyes in it. Like you could barely like tell that it was Demi Moore, but she looked like an actual monster. And yeah, it was so sad because you just see the difference between what she looked like before and then what she turned into. And I'm like, and I'm sure she felt the same way when she saw her. So she was like, I was concerned about looking like this, and now I look like this golem. So I just wanted to bring that up also because that was such a really good special effects makeup job that they did with the golem version too.
Yeah, it was crazy. I literally, so like, I don't typically like to be ugly for Halloween. There are some girls who own it and like think it's so fun and funny. Kind of like I was like, I wouldn't want to be the witch from Weapons, right? But by the end of this movie, especially after I realized why she was getting dolled up, I told Rudy, I was like, how expensive would it be for us to make this costume for me? And he's like, that monster, like, that's what you want to be. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't even know how to start. Like, what material do you use to get all those faces onto you? And then have a full Demi Moore head gasping for air on my shoulder. That would be an amazing costume. But yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start.
I know, it would be crazy. But now, even after like the revelation I had, I'm like, I have to attempt it at some point. Not this year because of the budget, but when we're more situated, I think I have to try to make it happen somehow.
Yeah, I wonder, you know who really does elaborate costumes that I'm not sure if she did this was Heidi Klum. You know how she does like very elaborate. I wonder if she's done this before or if she plans on doing it, because that would be a really good one for her because she goes all out.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Oh,
okay.
so many good things out of this.
I know. Alrighty, so let's get into the themes and the symbolisms, which we've kind of already really touched on it already. Deals with self-hatred, body dysmorphia, how we view women in media. And we hold all these female celebrities to such a high standard. And this film kind of just showed how harmful it is to a person. But actually watching this whole movie, I was thinking of Britney Spears and how...
Oh my gosh.
And how the media just like scrutinized her whole life. Like everything was always about her looks. When she was younger, she was criticized for being too slutty. And then after that, being sexualized for her whole life. And then she had her whole shaving her head moment, which was her way of saying, you know, to society, like, F you, I'm not this beautiful girl that you think I am. I'm going to cut off what you think is beautiful and just try to turn into to myself, I guess you can say. And that was such a bold thing to do. And even then she did that. Even though she did that to kind of send a message, the narrative just switched to where she was doing it to make a statement, but it was switched to like, oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's just a woman that's going crazy. So that just added to more of like my upset and feelings to this movie, is like how, yeah, it's true. We view women in media as kind of like objects, I guess you can say.
Yes. And we want, or not we, because I don't think we're doing that, but society in general wants women to be what they want them to be. Because I feel like males in general aren't scrutinized. Like, unless they have accusations against them or something, like nobody's hyper fixated on their aging or what they're doing. But women, it's like, oh no, she smoked a cigarette. Oh no, she was a little too mean when she said that. But men never have to deal with any of those things.
No, for sure. They don't have to deal with people criticizing their outfits for being too revealing, or the skirt was too long, or their makeup was bad, or stupid little things like that that really, who cares? But society does care, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad to hear about like your side of it. I feel like that was my takeaway the first time I saw it. The second time, like I said, I didn't realize. I really, really thought the first time that the monster was going to like take it out and show everyone like, you thought I was like bad before, like look at me now, like very malicious in a way, like revenge almost. But this time around, I was like, oh my God, the message is to love yourself and your body at every season in your life. And it was reminding me of this quote that has always like really, really stuck out to me with like weight loss journeys and stuff. And it was like a picture of like a plus size girl, and she's like sitting with like her legs, I don't know how to explain it, but she's sitting relaxed and she's kind of like looking, but she looks very like flowy. I don't know how to explain it, but she looks very like content and happy, but she's plus size. And the quote says, "Be happy with what you have while working for what you want." And that has always stuck with me, especially because of like my experience with like breaking my ankle and stuff. And like I've always had challenges with my weight my whole life. But after breaking my ankle, I've always realized like the human body is amazing. The way it like heals and it like continues to like take care of you like at every size and stuff. Like, yes, eventually things are problematic, which is why we're working out healthy for Halloween. But I feel like this captured that feeling so perfectly of like she didn't appreciate herself before she turned into a monster. And it's like we should just always love ourselves at like every season in our life, like however we look, however we feel. Like it's still amazing that we can get up every day and live and even change that if we wanted to. Like she couldn't change the fact that she was aging. Like, yes, she could have gotten like plastic surgery, all of those things. But I think like still being grateful, like she had an amazing career. She was the hottest woman for the longest time. And like she could have appreciated like those moments and accepted like, okay, like what is the next exciting chapter for me in my life versus mourning what she didn't have anymore.
Yeah. That's a good way to kind of wrap up the themes and symbolisms, because yeah, if you really look at it, she had two paths, I guess you can say. One path was to age gracefully and be proud of the work that she had did in the past. And then the other path was to redo it again and go and get that same feeling again, the same satisfaction of being the top woman, or the top woman of the world. And yeah, it's just appreciate who you are at this moment in time. That's really nice. Thank you for bringing that up. Because I mean, this applies to everybody, really. It's not just
It does.
women. It applies to everybody. We all have issues with our own bodies that we wished were different. But yeah, this is just kind of like the reminder of like, no, it's just appreciate who you are, because it can go south real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think in general, like also not just like bodies, but like even me, like being super vulnerable. Like I've talked, like we want to be filmmakers and we want to be doing that full time. But even if we're not doing that now, like I still want to be happy about where I'm at now and enjoy the process now. Like we should, like we can always change and improve, but we should enjoy the process and where we're at now in life.
Yeah, for sure. 100% agree. Okay, so let's get into our final wrap up. The one thing that I did not touch on before, well, I did touch on it, but I haven't really explained my reasoning of why I wanted to bring it up, was the sound. Everything in this movie was so amplified by the sound. Starting from the beginning, when you first meet Harvey and he's eating in front of you, and you could hear like the chomping, the chewing, and when it was just so gross. And it just added to your disgust towards him. Because obviously he said these disgusting things and he looks disgusting, and the sound is just adding to it. And then at the end, when she lost her ear. Like all of her body parts are kind of like falling off from her teeth. And then her ear falls off. And then you kind of hear everything else getting like muffled. And you hear like the muffled noise and it's like rubbing against kind of like clothes or something. It's a weird audio bit that they put in there. But then after that, everything feels, even though it's muffled, everything else feels amplified at the same time. So like you said, when she was curling her hair, you can hear like the sizzling of the hair just crackling. And then when she starts putting in the earrings, when she's the Monstro character, you can hear like the wind chimes happening. And it's just like the earrings dangling on her body. And I loved all of those little details that they put in. And I really felt like the sound was just like the little cherry on top of this perfect little ice cream that they made. Ice cream sundae they made.
Yeah, and also the motif. I love when films have like a good motif. Not when they overdo it, because I did feel like Fantastic Four overdid it. But like like when every time there's gonna be like an actual substance moment, I really love that. Like I love when they do like a motif like that. Like how I mentioned with David Arquette's character. Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. It's not Doofy. I want to call him Dewey.
Dewey?
Yeah, with Dewey and Gale Weathers, they have a motif also in the like sequels. So like I love when movies have that.
Yeah. Oh, and one other thing that I wanted to add, the chainsaw sound when she is baking or she's cooking.
Yes,
and she uses the mixer, the hand
time.
mixer, and it's the chainsaw sound. That was so cool. Whoever thought of that is genius. I loved
that was
it.
a really good scene. Like seeing her go off the walls. She looked like a witch too. Like just
She
this
did.
crazy old hag. Oh my god, they should have gotten her to play the evil witch. She would have been so the evil
That
queen.
would have been
Oh my
good.
god, why didn't we do that? We need a redo.
I know, for sure.
But yeah, and I also love when she's like, now we're just getting into like our favorite scenes because I feel like we haven't had room to do that. But I also love when she's like mimicking her and she's like, I think that was like so funny. But yeah, I could talk about this movie forever. So do you have anything else you want to add?
For reals. No, I think that was my last things I wanted to bring up was the sound because we don't really have a section for that. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that up. But yeah, I think that's all I have for now.
Okay. Then I guess it's time for It's Freaking Bats. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how many bats would you rate this film, Rabbit?
I think around my first rewatch, I really gave it a 4 out of 5 bats. But just like in the past, when we have these conversations and we just kind of do like a deep dive into the making of the movie and how it makes us feel or how a movie makes us feel, and then just dissecting everything, I think I'm going to have to just give it a 5 out of 5. Like I said, it's, like you said, it is an art of it's an art form. It really, like I said before, you could put it on in the background and it could just be like displaying a piece of art and not just a movie. So 5 out of 5 for me. What about you?
You're not just saying that because I literally cried over it.
No, I really believe it.
Okay. You were like, I didn't give her Jaws. I got to give her this. Well, the substance is 5 freaking bats out of 5 bats for me. This movie, as we discovered in this episode, literally changed my life and my entire like outlook in what I want to do with my life. It is like the first film I feel I've watched that was made for women who love horror. It's body gore, it's body horror, it is storytelling, it is beautiful and sparkly, and it's everything that I never knew I needed from a movie. Like, I don't know what else I could possibly say about it at this point.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, guys. Thank you so much for sticking through this emotional ride for me. Before we part ways for the week, let's have a little moment of Be Kind Rewind. We're all about the vibes here, so if this film hit just right, here are a few spooky picks you can rewind to match the mood, the madness, or the mayhem. What's your pick, Rabbit?
Okay, so one movie that kind of popped into my mind for this is Black Swan. It's a little different, but still kind of the same vibe, I think. It also follows a woman's ambition to be perfect in the eyes of the public, which leads to her pretty much going crazy in the process of trying to be this perfect dancer, perfect person, or whatever. So I for some reason, it just popped into my head. I was like, oh, this is very Black Swan-ish.
You literally took my pick again. I was literally telling Rudy that as we were watching it. I was like, we should watch Black Swan. Like, it feels a lot like Black Swan.
Sorry.
But it's okay. I think in general, if you listened and have never seen the movie, please watch it. But if you've only seen it once, I definitely think you should watch it a second time because there's just so much you can take from it, especially processing it for the second time. But I think the only other film that I feel is like semi-similar to this would be Jennifer's Body, because I think it's also kind of like body horror. It's about women empowerment, and I think it's kind of like the only other film I've watched that's not about a final girl where I've been like, hell yeah, women empowerment. So that would be, I guess, like my second pick. But I would say like rewatch The Substance. Like no matter how many times you've seen it, I'm ready to watch it again after like some of the things you mentioned today. All right, Ghosters, we hope you had a bloody good time hanging out with us today. We are watching Cabin in the Woods this weekend, so we'll see you here next Monday with our freshly popped horror review.
And remember, keep horror alive and watch something spooky this weekend.
Until next time, sending you ghouls and kisses. Bye.
Bye.
Ha 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 ha.